Well, we have a barrel or gnaw. I think all from listener line calls, actually. Nope, 2 from listener line calls, but we'll start with this one.
DLS and Chaz, TR, live and direct from the DR. I am fascinated with this situation where surfers, when coming out of the water and greeting another surfer, customarily say something negative. Oh man, the tide's gotten a little high, or oh, the wind's on it, and worst of all, oh, you really missed it. What is it that makes surfers do this? I've never liked it, even as a child, and I will always say something positive. No matter how bad the waves are, I will say, you're going to have fun. At the very, very least, barrel or nah, being negative whilst exiting the session. Thinking about doing a little vlog about this on Real Surf Stories YouTube. So let me know what you guys think. Have a great day and keep up the work.
I'm with buddy TR from DR. Of course, the Endless Summer, has made a monument of this. They have a whole scene in the Endless Summer about should have been here yesterday, should have been here an hour earlier, should have been here whenever, which you just take for granted. It's totally true. Getting out of the water, wind's on it now, whatever. He's exactly right. But I totally get somebody, if somebody has time in the water, giving them 15 minutes later than it is so they can go in, right? I get clearing the lineup when you're in it. When you're coming out, session's over, it's done. You don't, there's nothing proprietary. They're already going there. It's not like they're saying, hey, if they said, where should I surf? I'll get this sometimes rudely enough. I will oftentimes tell them to go surf a place that I never like to surf. So if I'm coming up where there's 4 options, they say, oh, where'd you go out? I will lie and say, I went out over there. It was fun.
Smoke screen them.
Yeah. And so I get all that, but just being negs for neg's sake, what's the point of it? There's no point in it.
No, I think it's a
knee jerk.
It is a knee jerk that is something, I think what it's vested in is I'm cool. I surf better waves than this all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm too cool for this, it's crappy today, or the tide just got too low, or whatever it is.
I'm such a sophisticated observer of waves.
Yeah.
That
I point out the negativity
because I know what good is, and I know that's not good. And if I act stoked, then I look like a stinking Joe Turpel, where all is good, and then I'm a nerd.
If you're into food, and then you go to a restaurant, you're going to pick out some criticism
just to show
it identifies you as being an astute critic,
expert.
That's what it is.
That is so true. But yeah, let's all cancel that. We're not experts. Let's just admit.
I was just thinking about it. First of all, I don't want to talk to anybody when I get out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even at the beginning of the call. That was my first thought was I'm exiting the water. I see somebody getting changed. I'm going to deviate my path if I have the opportunity to within 10 feet in hopes that they don't engage me in conversation. I would be okay if it was just, hey, how is it? And I just go, oh, it's all right, or whatever but I'm worried that it's going to evolve into, what board are you riding?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Those fins are kind of cool. And then it becomes a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm always for keep my head down, keep my eyes away, and hopefully nothing happens. But if they do say,
that's okay.
How is it out there?
It's a couple fun ones.
I do almost always give a negative response.
It's true.
I almost always say,
wind's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of junky.
Tide is weird.
Yeah. Because it always is junky. It always is not good.
Yeah. But you say, that's exactly what it is.
But TR's point of what are you, an idiot? This is way better than anything else that you could be doing.
And he's exactly right. You are going to have fun. Whoever's going surfing, I went out 2 days ago. The tide was so sucked low. It was basically impossible to surf, and I still had fun. There's never a time. The only time you go out and don't have fun surfing is if somehow you have a really high expectation that you are going to rip that day.
Right. Which I've abandoned long ago.
Me too.
All right. Well, TR, thank you for that. We're going
No barrel on negativity.
No barrel on negativity. Okay, here we go. Oh, shoot. I pushed the wrong thing.
Hey, great guys. Probably been done before, but barrel or not, Basecoat. I've been surfing for like 24 years or something. I think I tried Basecoat when I first started out, and then I switched to sticky bumps, and I've been a sticky bumps guy for a long time. So never did Basecoat, just threw it on, never found any issues with it or any difference. But I'm looking to switch to Foo Wax. I mean, with the cost of a bar of wax, this stuff's supposed to be stickier. Let me give it a shot. But from what I've read, you should use Basecoat with it, which is going to be something new for me. I'm not against it, but I want to know if Basecoat is a barrel or not, or maybe it's a tool to live by. You should Basecoat. You shouldn't Basecoat. You don't need to. You do. Maybe it's controversial. Maybe I'm a kook. Let me know.
Interesting. It's never come up before in conversation.
No, it never has. But here's the thing. I got the barrel or not for you. And the tool to live by. I use Basecoat when I go to these places called the tropics, when your Basecoat is actually your wax. And then you come home from those places, and then you actually have some Basecoat on your board. But to his point, though, Sticky Bumps does not need Sticky Bumps Cool does not need Basecoat. You rub. Do you use Sticky Bumps?
I do. I'd used Sticky Bumps for my whole life, and now there's a new product called, this is not an advertisement, but Trees Wax.
Oh.
It's made non-petroleum surf wax, and he sent me a box, and it's incredible.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's every bit as good as any regular wax. It's just petroleum free.
Okay.
So,
well,
but I did for my entire life up until the last 4 months been using Sticky Bumps. That was my go-to.
I'm a big Sticky Bumper and can't even imagine this talk of tree wax. I'm curious, but
I'll give you some. I have in my car.
I'm a Sticky Bumper, and Sticky Bumps Cool is really the only wax you should be using until I hear otherwise or feel otherwise. And you don't need Basecoat with Sticky Bumps. And don't use Foo Wax. Have you ever used Foo Wax?
Yeah, we got to do a Foo conversation.
Oh man, it is gnarly. Like, I guess I get it for like Chloe Andino, or if you're like busting airs or something for some kind of surfing, it gets all over you. Like, it coats you in wax.
It's gooey.
It is goo wax.
So, yeah, Foo came into fashion or Vogue 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was the Air Boys, like San Clemente Air Boys were all into it.
Kelly got some, and then like it kind of got out from there. It was a Brazilian guy named Foo, actually, who made this wax, and it is very, very sticky, but Sticky Bumps, regular surf wax is tacky.
Yeah.
This is actually sticky. And it's more liquid.
Yeah.
So like you can pinch it with your fingers, and when you separate your fingers, it's almost like bubble gum separating between your fingers. Like, that's how sticky it is. And you'll wax your board with it, and because it's got more liquidity in it, you'll wax your board, and as you pull the bar off your board, there's stringiness, like bubblegum stringiness and then it gets blown in the wind, and maybe it lands on you. Hopefully it doesn't.
I mean, it's going to land on you as soon as you start paddling out anyway. Your wetsuit or chest.
To everything.
Everything. It is like, I fully understand or don't understand at all. I would imagine that for obviously for high performance surfing, somehow that's good, right?
Yeah.
That they need that stickiness, where if you're high performance out there, then maybe Foo is the wax for you. But otherwise,
even then, I was like, do they really need that extra bit of stickiness? As if your board comes detached from you and then suctions back to your foot.
Maybe it does, though. Maybe those like strings connect.
So what I learned from Foo Wax, and I think they even recommend, is use it as a top coat. So it used to be Basecoat and then regular wax and then Foo, and Sticky Wax even makes a top coat product now.
That is
I think in relation
Foo-esque.
to Foo. So it's like just the last little glaze on top of the wax job is just a little layer of Foo. So he's asking Basecoat. Turns out now you can do top coat too.
You got to do 3 stinking coats
if you want to get wild. But I always use Basecoat.
Really?
And maybe I didn't need to. Now I'm knowing. Maybe if I'm using cool water wax locally or cold water wax.
Sticky Bumps. I think
maybe I never needed Basecoat in the first place, but I've always used Basecoat.
I think with a sex wax, I feel you need a Basecoat. I think sex wax doesn't grab on. You don't get those bumps.
Right, exactly.
with like, you'll just get a weird sheen with sex wax. With Sticky Bumps though, it bumps from the get. I mean, it's like you do your wax and you're good.
So it's levels of hardness essentially, right? So the Basecoat is built hard, so it adheres better to the fiberglass. but not so well to your foot.
Yes.
So if you can adhere to the fiberglass with a base coat, then you go mid coat adheres to that really easily and is grippy for your foot.
We should ask weirdo Ron from Board Porn what he does, because he is a wax master.
Because he has so many surfboards. He has to be. It makes perfect sense.
Such a weirdo, though. His
Yeah.
wax jobs, I can't even imagine doing that, what he does.
It's clearly, he is an artiste. He has a passion for the project, and he loves what he does.
And or deranged.
As a lot of artists can do. All right, well, got to the bottom of that one. Barrel?
I'm still a sticky bumps guy. So as long as
barrel.
I'm going, if you are sticky bumps, cool. I'm going no barrel, save your time.
All I know is I've always used base coat, and it's always worked for me. So I'm going barrel base coat.
Okay.
And him investing heavily in foo, you know, you don't want to waste a bunch of money doing multiple layers of foo. So you go.
I don't recommend full stop going the foo.
Yeah,
I think or just get ready for a big mess.
It is a big mess.
Yeah.
This turned into nah barrel for foo instead of yes barrel for base coat. All right, final barrel or nah. Buying a car manufacturer's surfboard. Quote, German surfer Sebastian Stutner and Porsche create miracle surfboard to conquer world's biggest wave. We've seen Mercedes get into the board business with Garrett McNamara. We've seen Tesla get into the board business strictly to sell surfboards. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to say if you're out there chasing the World Surf League, Guinness Book of World Record wave tour, then by all means buy a Porsche board. If you're like actually doing it, I'd have to think that Porsche and Mercedes and all these guys are having technology and wind tunnels and blah, 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 that our dear friend John Pizell simply does not have. And I love John Pizell, and John Pizell, I sure makes wonderful big wave guns that get Nathan Florence into Mulligmore. But if it's about beating a world record, I'd say go Porsche. Sorry, Pizell.
So it's an interesting experiment because you do have these board builders who have honed their craft for decades and decades. And you have Porsche, who clearly is the master at what they do on a much, much, much greater scale with much more resource to invest in it. And so the thought of, can they just sideline into our business, side door in, and create a better product?
I'm going to caveat with, Derek wrote that story about the Porsche board and I didn't actually read. Is it a tow board or a paddle board?
It's a tow
So that's the thing. I would say if you're paddling in, I would still go classic. But these tow boards are already so weird that I'm going to say Porsche, Mercedes have an edge on that, right? Where Pizell still has this heritage passed on to him from whoever. Who did he go shape for on the North Shore first? It was
Who, Pizell?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He went and Sam did something with, who's the dude out there who does
Bushman,
exactly. I think he was with Bush. So, all of this knowledge and wherever Bushman got his knowledge before, back to the eons of the original Hawaiian Kings riding surfboards, right? Where for paddle, I'm still going paddle Pizell, but tow Porsche. Pull me in on a Porsche, paddle me in on a Pizell, pull me in on a Porsche.
Well, I like that you've committed to an answer so quickly. You are also a Porsche enthusiast anyways.
Yeah.
So you might not feel the same about the Tesla board that they were trying to sell a while back.
Screw Tesla, because Tesla has built a car, but I've seen Porsche build. Porsche, for example, is built the ballet school in Stuttgart, which is one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen in my life. So
but they didn't get into architecture. They hired an architectural team.
But they're not. So they're hiring somebody else to do this board too. Like it's Porsche designers plus I'm sure there is a
factory
surf something rather else on that team.
Or their designers sent the design and concepts to a local factory, surfboard factory, and the factory built the board.
Definitely. Like I don't think Porsche. But I trust Porsche on design. I trust Porsche mechanically. I trust Porsche, and same with Mercedes, right? Like I trust the Mercedes brand, and so I would trust them for a tow board. I would trust that would be better.
If Porsche then made available a pointy thruster for you to purchase, would you be inclined? Because as a Porsche enthusiast, would you be inclined to purchase?
No, that's right. That's where I stop because that's a different thing. I'm going to say then a tow board. That's where I draw the line at tow.
What I do like about these stories that come out periodically is Porsche and Mercedes aren't trying to get into the surfboard business. They're not even looking to sell a surfboard. But I'm impressed by Sebastian Stutner's management team and Garrett McNamara's management team
to
somehow
snag these
partner,
big dogs.
snag the biggest dogs out there.
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible.
It's great. Sebastian, I wonder if Sebastian, remember that moment, that one spark when Christian Fletcher called Sebastian the guy who can't paddle or guy who can't surf, whatever.
This year's award goes to the guy who can't paddle into a wave.
Exactly.
Something like that.
We're watching, and love Christian Fletcher, but watching Christian Fletcher's arc from there versus watching Sebastian's arc. Sebastian is now signing deals with Porsche and is regularly in the news.
Yeah.
Christian Fletcher, you don't hear much from anymore.
Did he use the word Nazi in that?
Yeah, I think he said something. I think he did say Nazi.
He did use the word Nazi somehow.
I think he did.
He didn't call him a Nazi, and that's, I think, where he lost the room. You know what I mean? Like poor Sebastian Stutner, who's just like there to accept his award, gets associated with his country's bad past. Anyways, is there a car company that you would buy if they made a surfboard?
It's a great question.
Like if they made a pointy thruster, which car company do you like enough or trust enough to make something that you would be like, actually, I'm curious?
That is a great question. It might be Toyota, oddly enough. If Toyota got its Japanese crew together and they came up with a Toyota board, I might go for it.
It would be economical.
Yeah.
It would be reliable. Go the distance.
Yep. Never need ding repair.
No.
Rarely.
Volkswagen would get into the mid-length game. Volvo would be soft top. High performance, soft top.
That's real funny.
Yeah, we could do a whole series of these.
We could.
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah.